You are now listening to the Motown Sports Talk podcast. Here's your hosts, Jordan and Dalton.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today is February 17th, 2021, and there's not really much news going on, especially in the NFL world. There's not much to talk about. The Lions have done a couple press conferences lately. I mean, there's not much to take from them. There's a few sound bits we can take, like Deuce Staley talking about if you can't block for him, then you can't play running back for him, and blah, 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 and talking about the energy on the phone calls that when he was offered the job to come to Detroit and why he chose to leave. I believe it was Philadelphia he came from, and
it's just all positive.
Yeah, it was very positive stuff, but again, it was just a few sound bites, nothing to really dissect or get into or anything. Again, we've said it before, I'm excited for this coaching staff. I'll say it again.
Oh, yeah.
But as everybody knows, you don't win Super Bowls, you don't win playoff games in February or March. You win them in December and November and January. So that's where we're going to need to see it. Either way, I'm excited. It just seems like nothing but positive energy. But I mean, again, this is just a recycle of last time. I remember when we brought Matt Patricia in originally, there was a lot of hype, a lot of positive. There was a lot of energy surrounding the team. Everyone was excited to see what he could do with two New England guys in the front office and all this stuff and the head coach. But clearly that didn't work out, but this just feels completely different. We brought in tons of different guys from different areas, all who are former players, all who know what they're doing, not all of them, but almost every single one of them have been to a Super Bowl and won, like again with Deuce Staley in Philadelphia. Basically, all we have to look forward to is in the next coming weeks, starting February 23rd, teams will be able to either franchise or transition tag players. So we'll see what happens with either Kenny Golladay or Romeo Okwara. We've been talking about this for a while. I think we've asked this question 100 million times, but just for the sake of this episode, I'll ask you once again, Dalton, if you had to choose right now between franchising Kenny Golladay or Romeo Okwara, which one are you choosing?
Probably going to franchise Kenny because I feel like it can easily re-sign Romeo. Because, for one, we were the team that took a chance on him. Yeah, it's not this front office that took a chance on him. But, I mean, Martha Ford technically and the Ford family. And if we want to bring him back, and we do kind of have his brother, which I know he was very excited about to play with his brother. So that could be another incentive. Like, I still want to keep playing with my brother. Sign a cheaper deal.
I don't think he's going to sign a cheaper deal after he had his career year, but like I said, we've talked about it before. He was the only player who made any type of noise or gained any type of success on defense last year. So I do agree with your point that I think if we cannot come to some type of agreement with Kenny Golladay, but we're working towards a deal with Romeo, I think it'd be smarter to franchise Kenny just to keep him with, again, Jared Goff is definitely going to need somebody who can go up and make those contested catches. Because, again, I'm not making any knock on Jared Goff. I'm just saying you're only as good as your last game. There's a lot of people say, and we know Jared Goff wasn't that great last year, so it's all I'm going off of. And if he's playing about as what he did last year, he's going to need someone who can get contested catches and can go up and snag the ball out of the air away from somebody else like Kenny can.
And it's also a season for Kenny to prove to us that he can stay healthy.
Yes.
Be one of the top wide receivers in the league and deserve the money that he will get paid.
Exactly. I agree with you completely. So, again, we have that to look forward to. That starts on the 23rd to see what the Lions do there. March 15th through the 17th begins the legal negotiation window, basically where the Stafford Goff trade is going to finally be finalized and stuff like that, where teams can actually do the final negotiations where everything will start being official instead of just being basically it's just word of mouth right now that all these deals are going through. And then as you said, on the 17th, the new league year begins and free agency begins, and that's when free agents can go sign with whoever they want, and all those deals will be official by then and all that. But again, we'll have plenty of episodes before then, so we'll have a lot to discuss between there, who we think we might be signing in free agency, blah, 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 all that stuff. So
all that good stuff.
Exactly. Not really much else on the Lions, again, other than the Jared Goff trade. A lot of people are hyping up DeAndre Swift. There's a lot of hype surrounding him on social media right now, especially after the word coming from some of the Anthony Lynn and Deuce Staley saying that he can definitely be a 3-down back and a full game back. So I'm excited.
I'm all down for it.
Exactly. When he had 20-plus rushes, I think we won I forget what the stat was, but
I mean, even look, Adrian Peterson halfway through the season, like said, Swift should have been starting over him, and getting more reps than he should have. When you
Exactly.
have a great running back.
Exactly. Again, once you saw the difference, once he was able in the second half of the season, once he was coming out and once we started using him more, I don't know if it was Daryl Bevels or Matt Patricia who was just hesitant on using him and going with the veteran back. I don't know what it was, but I do think with this new regime, he's going to get way more opportunities, and I think that's kind of how it should be. Again, going back to Jared Goff, and again, I'm not trying to say anything on him. I just think to transition him into the Lions and transition him over here into a new offense and all this stuff, this is going to be the first time he's going to be playing for a new head coach, because he only played for Sean McVay his entire professional. That's not true. He played for Jeff Fisher, I think, his first year, and then it was Sean McVay. So this is going to basically be his third head coach, but he had his most success under Sean McVay, so it's going to be interesting to see him transition. So I think having a good run game makes a complete difference on offense. Again, we've talked about it a million times, just having the run game opens up the backfield for like Kenny Golladay to get open and whoever else we have as a wide receiver, TJ Hawkinson, stuff like that. So I'm excited to see. I hope this regime does use DeAndre Swift the way he should have been used his rookie season. Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was a concussion.
Concussion and then an illness.
Yeah, so he didn't really have any injuries that we need to worry about him lingering over till the next season. We just have to hope that...
Maybe the concussion.
I was going to say, we have to hope that he's not concussion prone and doesn't continue to get a concussion every year or like twice a year or something like that. That will be very bad. We don't have another job at best type situation like we did in the past, who he was, if he would have finished his career, he was going to be a great all-time running back, but was cut short due to concussions, unfortunately, so...
Now he's an Olympic runner.
Yep, a sprinter where he's not getting hit or has any risk of concussion, because that was one of the things that he was really good at, was using his speed in the NFL. So, all right, guess we will trans over into Pistons talk. And again, not really too much on the front. As of the most recent breaking news, their next 2 games were originally postponed due to COVID within the Spurs organization. So we were supposed to play the Mavs tonight, but that game was canceled due to obviously the terrible conditions going down in Texas right now. They're not used to a little bit of snow. They don't know how to drive down there, so
people are losing power too. They're turning off people's power.
Yeah, I know. It has a lot to do with the solar shit and blah, blah, blah. Texas is a weird state, but unfortunately they're not used to weather like this, so they are in kind of a state of emergency. So that game is canceled, but somehow the Pistons were able to work out with the Bulls because they had a game that was canceled earlier this week. Honestly, I have no idea how this really works with scheduling. Like if we're supposed to play the Bulls later and we just move that up so we can swap places with another game, and maybe both the games that were postponed originally can be moved to there. I'm not really sure how this scheduling is going to work.
It's just going to be like this. When we both can reschedule the game, it was earlier in the season, it got canceled, I think because of us, because we had a false positive.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we played the next night because it was a false positive. So I believe it was this game. I'm not 100% sure, but that's... So because our game got canceled and the Bulls games got canceled, the Pistons and Bulls organization's like, hey, let's do this. We both missed our games. Let's make a game. And that's just how it's going to have to be. And with us and the Spurs and the Mavericks, we're just going to have to find a...
Basically, we're just going to have to work in games here and there. But so we are going to be playing the Bulls tonight. That starts at 8 p.m.
This Pistons team is... much fun to watch.
We're on a 2-game win streak against the Pelicans and the Boston Celtics, surprisingly. And another one of the biggest breaking news that's kind of come out recently is Blake Griffin is on the trading block. We're sitting him indefinitely, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah, so basically he's going to be sitting indefinitely until we can either work out a trade or even a buyout has been talked. It's going to be hard because I think he's owed 36 or 38 million, somewhere in that range. Basically a shit ton of money. Yeah, so it's going to be hard to find a trade partner. I'm sure it's just going to end up being a buyout situation. I'm just hoping it's not a Josh Smith type situation where we pay it out over 5 to maybe 10 years, something like that. I hope it's either we pay him out fully this year or just maybe either 2 or 3 years. That way we're not tied up in Blake Griffin over the next few years like it was again with Josh Smith. Either way, the team looks better without Blake Griffin. They seem to be moving just way quicker throughout and down, up and down the court. And again, it's given Sadiq Bey a chance to shine. He has been amazing the last few games.
And he just won Player of the Week in the Eastern Conference.
So congratulations to Sadiq Bey on winning that. Yeah, again, the Pistons have been doing really good. And again, as we mentioned in our last episode, if you actually watch the Pistons games, even when they were losing, it was always a very competitive game. They got blown out a few times, but it was very rare that they actually, like the one game against the Jazz where we were getting blown out almost the entire game. We came back right at the end and almost won, but unfortunately ended up losing. So this Pistons is a very competitive team. And again, with Blake Griffin being gone, Andre Drummond's gone. We'll bring up Andre Drummond in a second, but Derrick Rose is gone. It's given the younger guys a chance to get a lot more minutes and a lot more experience. And again, hopefully Killian Hayes is expected to be back. I think it's at the 22nd of March. So yeah, we still have about a month before he can return, but hopefully once he gets back, he'll be playing a few more minutes than he was, and we'll see how good they can be.
This team is just so much fun to watch. Because you have Mason Plumley, which is honestly doing amazing.
Who put up a triple-double the other night for the first
career triple-double. He is honestly, you can tell that he came from Denver because of Nikola Jokic and how Nikola Jokic basically runs that offense in Denver. Like, it's ran through him, and he's always getting triple-doubles. Or, here, believe me to the fact, maybe Mason Plumlee helped Jokic play like that.
Could be. Could have been a mixture of both.
I never really saw either one of them play too much before. I know, obviously, now Nikola Jokic, like, that's his game. He's, like, basically a point center.
Yeah.
He runs the offense in Denver. But this team is just, the Pistons are just so much fun to watch. I love our starters. I love our bench. Like, it's just so much fun to watch. We traded for Dennis Smith Jr. And like I was telling, I already like him already. Like, I'm already enjoying watching him play. In the Pelicans game, Lewis Jr. was bringing the ball down court, and Smith was like trying to steal it and got him to like dribble the ball back court, so then got it over and back, and like he instantly like snatched the ball away from him, and then like they were like jawing back and forth. A couple plays later, Lewis is running down with a fast break, and Josh Jackson comes up and blocks him. It's called goaltending. That was a little iffy. Ball wasn't necessarily going down, but it's fine. And automatically chest bumps him, and like it's so amazing because it brings it back to the bad boys era and how they're gonna be physical with you, they're gonna be rough, they're gonna intimidate you, and you gotta not back down. And I love it, and I love watching this team. I said this in the last podcast. I am having so much fun watching these. And I saw somebody post something. So we had the bad boy Pistons. We had the going to work Pistons. Somebody said we should call these the don't quit Pistons. Because like Jordan said, they can be losing the entire game and come back and win it, almost win it, or they just never quit and they keep fighting. They took the Lakers with AD and LeBron to double overtime.
Yeah. Unfortunately, LeBron put us out of business, but that was still, like you said, it was a great game to watch and very competitive game all the way down to the end when you watch like these young guys in their first, second, or just early in their careers put on a show against these huge superstar athletes. So it's really fun to watch. And again, if you've been watching since the beginning of the season, it's just so much fun to watch the development of these players like Sadiq Bey, like Ski Mikhailuk, like, again, even though Mason Plumlee's a veteran, kind of just seeing them.
Even Ski Mikhailuk, I know you weren't you weren't watching the games too much when we traded for him, but like I said, I watched the games, and I remember watching him like play when we traded for him from LA, and like that's when he first came, like he was scared to shoot, he couldn't defend, he couldn't ball handle, like all he could do was shoot, and he was scared to shoot, and like just seeing his growth from that season to now is just tremendous. Like, it's finally time that people start giving Dwayne Casey props. Like, I know that his record hasn't been the best because he's had these crappy teams, but he is such a great development coach. Pascal Siakam. I'm honestly saying Pascal Siakam is as good as he is because of Dwayne Casey. Christian Wood wasn't that good, came to Detroit, shined, got paid big money. Jeremiah Grant was a backup in Denver. Wasn't playing the best. I think averaged like 12 points a season.
Yeah.
Comes to Detroit and he's averaging 20. He's our number one option. probably an all-star, hopefully an all-star. Mason Plumley, not a starting center, not really considered a starting center, has his first career triple-double. Josh Jackson, a labeled bust. Hey, come to Detroit, come play under me. I don't care what you did back then. I just wanted to see what you can do now. Josh Jackson having a great year. We went out and just got all these young players so Dwayne Casey can mold these guys into what he wants, and it's so amazing. And Dwayne Casey is such a great coach, and I don't want to see anybody talking crap about Dwayne Casey because he is developing these guys and turning these guys into great players, and this team in a couple of years is going to be a top seed in the East.
Yeah, no, they're, like I said, they're only going to get better from here on out, and it's amazing to watch them grow as much as they have. So, again, I guess we'll see what happens with these next postponed games, and if they can beat the Bulls tonight. Hopefully they can keep that 2-game winning streak going. All right, that's going to do it for us. Again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in. We always appreciate it.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
That always helps us out a lot as well. We'll see you again
Check
next
out
time.
our Facebook and Instagram and everything in our Twitter, all down in the description below or above us. It's all above us too.
Everything's there. Go ahead and follow us and keep up to date with everything. All right, we'll see you again next time.